Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mind Your Own Business. My name is Pablo, and thanks for listening.
All right, everybody, welcome back. I have Amelia here. She's a coach, advisor, author, investor. She's a business person all around. So when she talks, you listen. So I'm very happy and honored to have you here, Amelia. How are you today?
Hey, Pablo, listen, I am so pumped to be here. I know that we got connected through me booking time on your calendar accidentally, which led to us being here, which I absolutely love. So, super cool that we get to have this conversation. So, I'm honored to be here, pumped to talk about some super important topics.
Yeah, so for context and salespeople out there listen to this story, I was just minding my own business. I got an cold email from Amelia saying like, "Hey, I want to meet with Jed." I think you were thinking that I was Jed or that Jed was in the thread.
Yeah, I don't know what I did, to be truthful. I have 0 clue, but I just booked time thinking it was on his calendar, and then you came back to me, and I was like, "Wait, you're not Jed, but we can still be friends."
Yeah.
So, and then we went from there.
I think who we are. So yeah, that's the powerful of networking and connecting with people. So right off the bat, just to as a way of introduction, Amelia, who do you help?
Anyone and everyone that I possibly can who is trying to take their next best step. And that being whether it's through their personal life, just needing like, hey, I need somebody to cheer me on. Great. Happy to do so because I've had people who've had my back in that way. Or professional life, right now, who I'm helping is anyone and everyone who has any kind of content they're creating. So whether that be blogs, newsletters, LinkedIn posts, any outreach they're doing, their email sequences to event follow ups, all of those things in totality, and then sales reps, I get a good bit of people who will just say, "Hey, can you just help me figure this out?" And I was once there and I get it totally. And bravo to the people who reach out and put their guard down saying, "Hey, can you help me figure out like what I'm supposed to do here? I have 0 clue if this even makes sense. Can you just tell me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'll take time to do so because that's just planting seeds in a garden of fruition of some way, that'll come in some way, shape, or form. Who knows how?"
Right. And so the title of that is sales evangelist, right?
Is yes, they're really showing up where my buyers live for the company I'm with Reggie, but not necessarily just that. It's being the face of the company, but also somebody who's just, hey, I'm kind of a walking, talking bridge to a solution that can potentially help you. If not, let's talk about what else can help you because I've dabbled in other things too. I don't ever want to be the dishonest salesperson who says, "Hey, buy from me," and then it's not going to really be your solution. I'm just taking your money and running. And
Yeah.
that's not me, never will be. Can't sleep at night if it is. So shame on y'all who are doing that. Side note. But I'm bridging this gap almost between sales and marketing, which is a really I mean, that bridge has been like
Oh
crumbled
yeah.
and then built a million times and never really built properly. So looking above and down at the alignment that is lacking in so many different organizations, that falls under RevOps a bit and all that. But if I can have a helping hand with people and kind of guide them to the best solution right now, that goal being to the company I'm with Reggie with their content creation, because it is such a big, 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 huge factor to create relevant content. Not just that, the personalization, of course, but also there's got to be, okay, would I respond to this? Would I
Mm.
be willing to continue reading this blog? Do I want anything to do with this newsletter? Does this even relate to me at all as a CMO? But it's geared towards revenue generating for outbound, whatever. It doesn't make sense. So making sure that all of the personalization and the relevancy ties to that persona based off whatever pain point they might have is all just
Mhm.
so, so, so important. So, really, those are the people I'm trying to help, not necessarily sell to, bridge the gap, of, here you go, here, let me just kind of lay down, walk over this way, walk, on me, basically, if I'm the bridge to a solution that could potentially help you.
Right, right, right. So I want to pivot the conversation to talk about people and teams. What is known as company culture in this case, because I think it's yeah, it's very important. So, what do you think? So, going to the negative first, which is what do you think is the biggest challenge teams face today? Not precisely your team, but you've talked to people, they all seem to be facing this or struggling with X or Y. What do you think is the one or two things out there?
Biggest thing, and I will say this, and I not where I'm at now, not where I have experienced culture that's great. I have experienced culture that has been everything but great.
Okay.
And that being said, I can say I am such a firm believer that if you do not have good leaders in place from the very top of the funnel, even to the SDR managers, if you do not have people who are leading the reps, who are those generating the revenue, bringing in those qualified meetings, if you don't have good people in place who have honest to God, just wanting to help and help these people know and grow and learn and better themselves professionally, personally, and understand how are you best coached? Are you one that needs, we're talking the corner, you need to slap on the butt? Like, what do we need? Do we need to add a boy? Let's go get him, Tiger. Or, come to Jesus moment. It really is so critical if that component of leaders, if they're not doing that, what are they doing? If you don't know how to coach your people, what are you doing? Because that will push this culture into silos too, of kind of this, middle school. Let's group into different segments and we're going to kind of gossip about this group and gossip about this group. And then you're siloed off completely. But
Mm.
it's a culture that really is just, it's unsteady. It's not something that can be solid and built upon, because where's the trust there if you don't feel as though you're being poured into?
And on that same note, what do you think? So, and I agree with you. And sometimes, especially in sales or SaaS organizations, they promote the high performer person who's there, and it becomes like a that like management is not equal to leadership in my eyes. But I'm curious to know your thoughts about promoting, which is not a bad idea. If you think about it, you can replicate you're doing with the rest of the batch. That makes sense. But is that person prepared to lead? Is he or she qualified to lead? So I'm curious to know your thoughts on that.
Totally. I purposely have chosen in my sales career to say no to any management opportunity that
Really?
has come about. Yes, because I am single mama too, and I know that I have my focus is that I and things that I have to do. This is what I have to do. If I don't do this, we're going under a bridge to live, girls. Listen, this is what has to happen. So mom's got to work. So with that being said, it's a disservice to anyone that I would be managing. I wouldn't be able to give my time the way I would want to. I wouldn't sleep all night knowing that I didn't do my very best for them. And I know that my focus has to be on me. So it's a selfish choice in a good way for the betterment of the entire org, knowing that somebody else could do this better than I could. And also there's very much so, let's promote based off performance and not looking at the ROI or the revenue generated from what was produced. And that is a hot topic that will have me having steam blow out of my ears, sort of thing, because holy cow, why do we do this? Why do we do this and talk about it and nothing changes? Nothing changes till something changes, right? So there's got to be the organizations, which there are the ones that say, hey, we're going to look at this and we're going to promote the people who want to be promoted too, and look at, okay, where do you want to go? Because you get to know your people enough to understand, oh, you want to go and maybe you see if marketing is more where you should be, or CS might be a better fit for you because cross training is what we do internally. So you understand who you are, who you're not, equally as important. So all those factors combined, knowing your people, knowing what route they want to take within an organization, knowing their growth just journey that they want to be on, you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know where you want to be if you don't test and try and figure that out. So if there's leaders who are having zero clue what they're doing and who they're leading, they just get a bunch of people slapped on their team and they're like, hey guys, let's go. It's going to be a great day. Book this, call this many people, go, go, go. Whatever you, what? You're not training on the tech stack. There's not enablement of the people. There's not enablement of the tools. There's there isn't any kind of structure and process. This goes back to the whole RevOps preaching here, but it it is. There's no process in place if you just promote based off of XYZ meetings happened and we don't look at the ROI or revenue.
How would you say we can fix it? How would you increase how would you, yeah, address the leadership, lack of leadership, I mean, problem?
In order for anything to change, there has to be the recognition of there's a problem here. So there has to be someone within an organization who steps up to say, hey, we do have an issue here. There is something that is going on. We aren't getting the training we're getting. And I think that has to start at the bottom of the funnel. I don't think that can go to that C suite that is going to make the change. I don't believe that they will be able to see that looking down the funnel because they have delegated different things to different people. So I think that's the kind of where it's a challenge to salespeople or reps to not challenge any authority, challenge anyone in um, a role that is in management leadership above them, but look at things in a different perspective opposed to one view only. Because seven worse words, seven worse things you can say in a business is we've always done it this way. So if it's if people are not hitting their numbers, why? Because they're not being coached the way they should be coached. So a challenge to reps should be address this with who it may be the best person within your organization to go chat with. Go make friends in different departments too. Figure out where you're best suited. And it might be, hey, I love the marketing team over there. I want to try to jump over there and create your own path. If it's not working for you, or go jump ship, find somewhere else.
Yeah, I remember one of the first times I was coached. The person asked me like, how do you want to, like, what's your coaching style? But not coaching from the coach. How do you want to be coached? And that was very like put off. I was confused. I didn't know that you have different type of coachings according to different people. But then of course it makes perfect sense. So what you're saying is, I think it's powerful because you can just go within the organization or outside and just match your specific needs, what you're lacking, what you're not, you know, what you really need to understand. But you're right. The first thing is just embracing the fact that there is something in there that you need to work on.
Right. Like, don't you don't have to reinvent the wheel if things are working, but reinvent something if the wheel's not turning the right way because there's people not hitting numbers, there's churn happening, there's overpromising, under delivering, there's unhappy employees, all of that factors in. So yeah.
And I'm curious to know. So that sounds great on paper. I want to challenge you to give maybe people one, two, three practical, very actionable activities, exercises, or anything that they can do today to improve their culture.
Yeah, absolutely. So three simple things reps could do. So one, go talk to your peers and figure out what they're seeing, how they're feeling. Build relationships with your peers because they're in the same boat that you're in. So figuring out, all right, are we rowing the same way to begin with? Are we overstepping? Are we touching the same accounts? This is a bad look all around, if so. And it don't have this fest of let's complain on all things. No, but how do we improve this together? So two or more, great. Let's kind of approach things with, hey, there's a tribe of people here who need help. So that's, one, it's not the one to many against leadership look. It's a, hey, we all are having this kind of issue over here. We're not feeling as though we're coached in the very best way. So get with your peers, touch them. That'd be one. Two, if you do not have any kind of cross training within your organization and you do not feel as though you know what you're doing, you don't have a passion for where you're at, you don't see yourself thriving in your role, maybe it's not suited for you. Maybe you're really great at marketing. Maybe you're going to be amazing at CS and following up and reducing churn from these companies that are being overpromised, underdelivered, whatever, whatever it may be. But go and embrace those people, make friends in the other departments across the pond or wherever they are, right? It might be across the computer screen, if you will, but reach out and say, hey, let's have a quick Zoom call. I'd love to hear more about what you guys are doing. I don't quite get it on my side, and I want to understand the layout of the business as a whole. Understanding the business and how business should be run, RevOps really, um, it, in totality, even at a SDR level, knowing how businesses run is so key to your growth and the way that you can speak to people, your business acumen, and understanding this is not how things should be. It's time to jump ship, or it's either time to maybe challenge that quote unquote things have always been done this way reference that I keep going back to. Um, and the third thing would be is create your own path. Like create your own path and have fun. Just straight up have fun. I mean, create your own paths in my words there. Let me kind of elaborate. That would be okay, here are my top three things I need to do today. I'm going to create my own, what I can do, what I know, how I can do it. But if you don't have a clear direction, you're not going to have any, and you don't have guidance, and you don't have leadership who is providing this understanding of this is why we're doing what we're doing and how we do it. And this is the meaning for all of this. You don't have any guidance or structure or any of the processes in place. Create your own process. So have fun with it and create three things. Say, boom, 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 I'm going to accomplish these things. And then you're going to feel great about it. Learn something new, take initiative, and then have fun with your peers too while you're learning and get a group. I mean, for example, I created a whole thing that was like SDR superlatives, and it was super goofy, but there was no process in place at this company I was with at the time, and I was on a growth team that I was trying to build out, and I just thought, you know what? No one's going to vote on these. I'm going to do it myself with this other girl, and we had so much fun. We did it for all these reps, and we were like, "Hey, you guys, your peers have voted. Here are the whatever 2020 SDR superlatives of the year." And everyone's like, what is this? Like, I don't remember voting on this. And like, it was a really long time ago, but it just created this fun atmosphere. Not everyone is outgoing and does like silly things like that just make no sense because the superlatives were totally goofy. Like, they made no sense, which was even better. But it was a way to break down walls for people too. So go find the most outgoing person over there that you work alongside of and get to know them and embrace the fact that not everybody knows what they're doing. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail fast and fail forward, but just create your own process and have fun with it. In the meantime, make friends, learn. Really, that's all you can do. And but don't be afraid to challenge that stereotype of this is how things have always been. This is the leadership and this is what they say. Go. Don't be a bully and show up and say, I'm not doing this, or this isn't how I want to do it. No, they got to where they are because of what they've done. Great. But if you see, doesn't matter, nobody falls asleep with their title. So if you see something lacking, there's going to be more respect for you when you show up saying, here's why things, what I'm seeing, and here's where we could be. You show up with numbers saying, here's a more strategic way to do this, or here's how I help this person who's a new rep because I showed them how to use this tool. Look what they're doing compared to the other rep who started at the same time as them. So help others too.
Wow, so you covered so many things in there. I'm saying so I have community because some people might know I'm doing a research on how to create the irresistible workplace, and the same things keep showing up. So leadership, community, and values, and the sense of belonging, which is tied to purpose, which is you cover them all. So first, community, make friends, have fun. I mean, no one's. No, it's a work. It's a job. It's work. We don't love it always. There are hard days and tedious moments, but if you make it fun, if you have a network and a support community, that's a game changer. And then leadership, well, we covered that as well. And then, of course, and then also you talked about like having a I want to say purpose, but when you talked about having fun, and yeah, purpose like a goal as a team and also your personal goal, it's also a game changer. And so I recently read a study about this. It was a nonprofit, so it was BDRs calling in exchange for like nothing, just donations. So this has to be very hard. And so they had two teams. One team, they tied it to the purpose of the nonprofit. So they knew the kids who they were helping, they knew the houses, the conditions they were in, and they felt like tied to the mission 100%. That was, you know, Exhibit A. Exhibit B, just BDRs, just calling, no information about anything. So clearly, and of course, the obvious result is Exhibit A, who knew the purpose, knew the kids, knew the houses. They outperformed the other ones by I don't know how much, but like a lot. And so, if you know why you're doing the things you're doing, so the purpose, the community, the friends, the values that you talked about, Amelia, then I think that's a great starting point.
It it really is. I mean, get to know who you're working with. We're in this virtual world and it's exhausting some days, even more exhausting than going into the office at times. That seems like ages ago, right? But it is because, there is such a okay, I could be going and doing this if I wanted. Oh, wait, but work is calling. I have to do this. So even leaders having a incentivized, hey, we're going to have this get together and we're going to do this and we're going to have our teams, even if it's in regions, right? We're going to make sure that everybody a quarter at least gets to know each other in a personal way. We're going to provide that for you, and let's figure out how to make that work because not everybody can go to San Francisco for a week for and stay at some hotel and do whatever. No, that's not how all these companies can work. We're not all Series D and with funds from investors. So if these bootstrap companies, great. If that's not happening, go figure out if there's people you work with who are in your area. Go meet up with them and get to know people, network well within your organization, outside your organization, and even asking people who are reps just like you, maybe in the same space, maybe in the same industry or whatnot. Hey, what do you guys do over there? I'm just curious. I'm trying to figure out kind of our structure here, being new, or we're changing a few things up. You don't just share what's going on, but just asking other people because when you see different perspectives on things, it is so key to change. And change doesn't happen, even though it's constant. And we know that we put it in the back of our minds. A lot of, and this is more geared towards leadership. So easy to toss it in the back of your mind, right? Of like, okay, well, I don't see it. I'm not going to deal with it. Or I don't know what I don't know. But as reps, I mean, you're the foundation of this, of the company. So you're feeling every bit of the pressure of I gotta perform, I gotta hit this number, I gotta do this, this, this. But why? Why? Why are other companies doing it and doing it well or better? So even making, I mean, I had friends, and I was at data provider company, and I made some friends over at a competitor, a big competitor. I made some friends who were reps, kind of started around the same time that I did, and they're still friends to this day. That we just were able to kind of sync up and be friends, not competitors. It was like, let's get to know what's going on in the industry together because we both can win more that way. And hey, if this isn't a fit, I'm going to build trust with this person by saying, like, listen, this is more enterprise focused. Let me pass you off to my buddy over here. You're planting seeds. So don't be afraid to just network outside of your internal company network that you've got going on too.
Yeah, I've seen people even getting mentorships, like mentors out there by networking. That's very common. So, and Emily, I want to be mindful of your time. Where to wrap it up? Where can people find you? And any last thoughts or comments?
I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm going to spare everybody on that one. But um, find me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to have conversations with anyone and everyone because I know helping is it's not just selling, but it's I'm not in a sales necessarily role right now. I'm in this evangelist role, so I'm kind of hybrid. I want to help people be successful because people help me along the way, like I said, and they showed me the yes, do this, absolutely no, do not do that. That makes zero sense, Amelia. And I needed that kind of guidance. So do not be afraid to reach out. I am more than happy to help. I promise I'm not scary by any means. If you do, if anything, you might know more than me and you can learn something from everyone. I would learn something right back. So LinkedIn, definitely. And I'm on Instagram. I don't remember what it is, but just find me. It's Amelia Taylor, something you'll see me. Um, Debating on the TikTok thing. I've got a post out right now about it. Wondering if I jump on that train or not. It's a it's interesting. I'm not sure. So you might find me there soon. I don't know.
We'll
So
see.
for sure LinkedIn.
All right. Thank you so much, Amelia, for your time, for your knowledge. I appreciate what you do. Thank you for all the help. And again, you're a big, I want to say influence, but influencer is now has a different connotation. But you're a person who the LinkedIn community like admires. So your work matters a lot. And
That made my day. My week. Really. No, I mean vice versa. You're doing big things. So thank you. I'm honored to join you for sure.
thank you. Likewise. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks.